guys, this is Transforming Gundam, and welcome to the 9th episode of Throwback Review, a series where I take a look back at older kits I have built in the past, and as always, these videos are completely unscripted and have very little to no edits. So, since in my last video I did take a look at the layout, it is only fitting that in this episode I take a look at the high-grade Tallgeese 3 Special Edition. Now, what makes this the Special Edition is obviously the colors. Now, if you can't tell, this is a clear and metallic version of the normal high-grade Tallgeese 3 kit. And it is a really cool kit in terms of looks, but in terms of age, this kit has not aged well at all. Now, for a bit of a backstory, this is one of my earlier kits, if not one of my first kits I built. Yeah, over time it has gotten pretty loose, and I also don't have all the accessories for it, as well as some pieces snapping off, which I'll get into later on in the review. But still, for looks, it does look really good, especially with the metallic chest and the head there. So let's zoom in here and take a closer look at the details. Because it is metallic plastic and clear plastic, obviously the numbmarks are going to stand out like a sore thumb, and because this is one of my earlier kits, I also didn't do a great job at cleaning the numbmarks, and that just makes it stand out that much more. So obviously, you can see some bad numbmarks here on the shoulders, on the chest there. There's also some really bad seam lines, like you can see on the arm here. You can see it's starting to split there, on the legs, going all the way down there, on the feet as well. You can see here on the shoulders a seam line there, seam line on the backpack, seam line, really bad seam line here. I'm pretty sure these pieces are supposed to push together like that, but since this kit is so old, yeah, it has started to fall apart a bit, as you can see there. But yeah, I can't blame all the faults on the kit itself. It is probably also my fault, just because of how long ago I did build this kit, and also, as you can see, I didn't do the best job of actually cleaning the parts properly before snapping them together. But still, if you just ignore all of the bad seam lines and the nub marks, which is partially my fault, it is still a really good looking kit. And this is a kit that is actually as old as me. This kit came out in 1998, which is the year when I was born. All things considered, I can't really, knock off too many points in terms of looks, just because this is over 22 years old, and saying that makes me feel old. But anyways, with all that out of the way, we'll get into the stickers. Now, for the stickers, it does come with a decent amount, but it's not terrible. Starting off, this whole V-fin area is a sticker. However, obviously, I somehow snapped this part of the V-fin, the left side of the V-fin anyways, and because of that, the gold sticker went along with it. So you can see the original plastic there, and then the gold sticker covering it. It doesn't look too bad. Now, this metallic blue on the chest is also a sticker, as well as there are stickers for this area on the back of the head, and this makes up 2 stickers here. As you can see, the sticker on this side and a sticker on the other side. It doesn't look too terrible, but you can see there is a gap in there with the 2 stickers. I think the sticker is supposed to fold over to kind of cover that, but I didn't do the best job of applying it. There's also 2 stickers on the sides of the back of the head here and here as well. And I want to say, at least for the rest of the mobile suit, that's about it for the stickers. So it's not too bad. And now, it did come with more stickers, because if you didn't know, this kit actually gives you the ability to choose between either building the Tallgeese 3, the Tallgeese 2, and the Tallgeese 1. So you get different chest parts as well as different head parts, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have any of the extra parts. Unfortunately, I only have the Tallgeese 3 parts. So in the case of Tallgeese 3, that's all the stickers that you get. Now, let's get into the articulation. And since this is a really early late 90s kit. It is made out of mostly polycaps, and the main problem with polycaps is, since they are rubber, they do become extremely loose over time, and that does result into some loose joints. So let's just get straight into it. The head is on a ball joint, so you can go up and down as well as side to side and rotate. and it can rotate a full 360 degrees if you really wanted to. The arms are just on a simple peg joint, so you can see, let's see if I can show that off here. So you can see there's just one long peg, there's a poly cap in there. And one cool thing about this kit is that they actually made all the poly caps white, so that's actually pretty cool. But the arm can rotate a full 360 degrees, can go out really about that much, so really limited there. There is rotation at the bicep. The elbow joint is just a poly cap, so you get a single joint there of about 90 degrees. And you get the old style high grade hands, which are just poly caps, so it can rotate full 360. You can see obviously it's just a ball joint in there. And now for these thrusters, they are on a hinge joint. You can see over time this has gotten really loose here. And another cool thing is that you can open up this little wing area here, and this whole area actually can open up, which reveals some thrusters in there, which if you can get your finger in there, you can pull those out slightly. So you can see some thruster detail in there. That's actually pretty cool, especially for an old high grade. Obviously this is loose, but still for the time, this is actually pretty nice detail in there. And then obviously this can do exactly the same thing as this one. Now for the waist, it can rotate, but not really a full 360, just because it does run into these areas of the side skirts here. Now because the front skirts are so small, they don't really move. You do get these long side skirts, which is attached to the leg here. So it doesn't really get in the way, but it can rotate a little bit, as you can see in there. And for the back skirts, they are just one solid piece, so these don't move at all. So legs can kick out only about that much, go back about that much, and going out you only get about that much. So really limited range of articulation at the legs. There's a little bit of rotation, and for the leg bend, it does bend at 2 joints, but you're only going to get, really, is that it? Hold up, maybe it's just, yeah, I guess that's, wow, that is really limited, unless I just can't get the full range of motion there. You get a less than 90 degree bend there, but you can see it is on a double joint in there. I just can't get that second joint to really move much. So for the leg bend, you only get about that much, which again is less than 90. So that is really disappointing there. I thought it was a bit better. And then finally for the feet, you can go up and down, and there's a little bit of side to side and some rotation. But that's about it for the articulation. Again, for a kit that came out in '98, it's all right. This definitely does not hold up to today's standard at all. And as you can see, these joints are really loose, so it's really hard to get up to any type of action pose other than just standing like this. Now for the accessories, as I said, I don't have everything, but we'll get started with the shield here, and it does have the whip attached. This whip is just one solid piece, so fortunately none of these individual areas can move. It's just stuck in this static pose. As you can see, it is attached via a poly cap in there, so that means it does allow a little bit of rotation as well as some up and down movement. Now for attaching the shield, it can attach to this point here, so you just pull that poly cap into that peg in there, and once you get it in, there you go, you can have the shield attached to the shoulder there. Now there was a handle here which unfortunately snapped off, but you could get it to hold it in his hand, but as I said, yeah, that handle snapped off, so can't exactly do that, but you can still pose it with the shield in the whip, so you get something like that. Let's see if I can get him to stand here. There you go. So that doesn't look too bad. And then finally we get into the, I think this is just the Buster rifle, or giant cannon. I don't really know the name of this obviously, but it is obviously a giant cannon, and it does actually look really cool. But one thing is, you might notice that there is an attachment point here, and that should plug into, you can see there's a hole in there and a hole on the other side, but the two little pegs that are supposed to go in here like that actually snapped, and this was actually fairly recently. So I can't have the gun just attached to the shoulder like that, but you can still hold it with this handle here. So what I like to do is just take the hand off, and then you can just put it through the handle like that. You don't want to push it through all the way, because if you do, you're not going to be able to attach it back into the arm. So you can still plug it into the hand, and then you can just kind of pretend like you can have this attached to the shoulder like that. There you go. And as you can see, he can still hold the Buster gun or cannon, whatever you call it. And with the accessories, this honestly does look really cool. You can have the thrusters up like that. So, I mean, yeah, like this, just having it like this, it does look really cool. I especially do love the metallic plastic that they used here. And it does look really good with the clear plastic. So, for a display piece, this honestly does look really cool. But if you're expecting some high-end model kit, this is definitely not that. Oh yeah, one thing I did forget to mention, there is some bad seam lines on the gun as well. But for a display piece, again, if you put a little bit of work into it, actually properly clean up the nub marks and maybe fill in those seam lines, and probably it would look better if you actually painted it instead of using these stickers. You can get a pretty nice, cool looking clear and metallic Tallgeese 3 here. So that's about it for this review. Now let's quickly do some size comparisons, and then we'll get into my final thoughts. So starting off with the most obvious comparison, here he is with the high grade Leo, which was, as I said, my last Throwback review episode. So bringing in some older wing kits I have built, here he is with the high grade Wing Zero Custom, which was actually my second Throwback review episode I did, so definitely go check that out as well. Next, here he is with the Gundam Grape or Grapey. Honestly, I never learned how to actually properly pronounce this Gundam, but this was also a older review I did, so if you want, you can go check that out as well. And this is actually from the Gundam Wing side story, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, there is that comparison for you. Next, comparing him with one of my really old kits, here he is with the 1:144 scale, no grade, Vegate. And finally, bringing in the last of my old high grade wing kits I have built, here he is with the high grade Nataku, which I actually haven't reviewed that kit yet, so if you want me to do a review on that, let me know in the comments below. Next, bringing in a fellow metallic kit, here he is with the high grade metallic New Gundam, and obviously the New Gundam towers over the Tallgeese 3, so yeah, there's that comparison. And finally, comparing him with another clear kit, here he is with the after image clear version of F91, which I also did a review on, so you can go check that out if you want. So getting to my final thoughts, you know, what can I say? I actually really like this kit. Now, would I recommend it? Probably not, especially if you are a beginner to Gundam. This is definitely not a beginner-friendly kit to get. While the construction is really simple, it has definitely not aged well, and there's going to be a lot of cleanup and seam line removal to do if you really want this kit to look good. However, if you do like clear and metallic kits like I do, or just special edition kits in general, then this is still a really cool kit to add to your collection. Just don't expect anything too crazy in terms of the build quality. But if you don't really care about that and you just want a cool kit on your shelf, then this is definitely one to consider adding to your collection. While it is a special edition, I don't think it's really an exclusive to anything. It's not like a P-Bandai or anything, so I'm pretty sure you can still easily find this kit for around $10 to $11, and for that price, I would recommend picking it up. So that's about it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give this video a like. Leave a comment if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and don't forget to subscribe as well as turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. And finally, don't forget to join the Discord. Right now we are at around 28 to 29 members, if I remember correctly. And I actually have something really big planned for the 50 member celebration. So once we've hit 50 members, I have some really cool stuff planned. So definitely do consider joining the Discord. There'll be a link to that in the description below. And yeah, that'll do it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. So if you can't tell, I really am a sucker for clear and metallic kits. So it won't be a surprise to anyone to see that I have this in my backlog.